Toby, thanks so much, man, for taking out the time today and chat with us. Before we get into, the long and short, what you do with social media and real estate agents and stuff like that, can you tell us a little bit of your background and everything?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. My background in real estate, I started real estate back in Boston when I was in university at Boston College. A friend of mine, he was an upperclassman and he had been doing real estate for a couple of years at Boston College, primarily helping students with finding rentals off campus, since not everybody at the school gets 4 years of housing. So pretty much everybody their junior year has to find off-campus housing. So that's primarily what he did and recommended that I get into real estate. So I did 5 years of real estate in the Boston area, mostly doing rentals, and then I was a teacher for around 10 years. Taught for a couple of years in Boston, taught 6 years internationally in Panama, Spain, and Singapore, and then. Nice. Yeah, it was great. Young at the time, didn't, no mortgage payments, no kids. So it's a good time to travel and see the world. And then I moved to Monterey, California, which I've been here for about 6 years, and was a teacher for 1 year and found that it was pretty difficult to live here in California and Monterey in particular, and a teacher's salary. And I switched back into real estate full time around 5 years ago, and have been doing real estate sales in the Monterey area for the last 5 years.
Nice. So, well, before we get into, why I brought you on the podcast, I want to talk to you a little bit about that transition from being a, teacher into real estate sales, which, some people may say, well, that's kind of crazy. You had some secure income, but like you said, right now is that secure income was only it was capped at a certain amount that you couldn't go above. And there wasn't like you worked an extra 2 days and got double your income. But if you did that with real estate, you have that opportunity. And there's a lot of other things in it, but talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was certainly a leap of faith to go from something that is a steady paycheck. And, teachers do work outside of the time when they're just around the students and at the school. They work at home, they work weekends, but as a teacher, it is a little bit more of a set expected schedule. Know that you're going to be at the school from 8 a.m. to 3:30 or 4 p.m. every day, and kind of your schedule for planning and grading and things like that you have to do outside of school. So yeah, it was a bit of a challenge my first year for sure. I struggled. Monterey is a very interesting real estate market in the fact that there are, the year that I started, there were 1,400 home sales and 1,500 realtors. So if you do the math, that's not great math there. That means that the average realtor is doing 0 to 1 sale a year. And there are plenty of realtors here who are doing, 20 to 40 sales a year. So I would say probably the top 10% of realtors do 90% of the transactions here, which I know that can be like that in a lot of markets. So, my first year was definitely a struggle. I only did 1 sale in my first 6 months, and I had gotten out of teaching because the salary wasn't enough for me to support living here. I certainly made less in those first 6 months. I was working nights at a restaurant and a bar just to help pay my rent. So it was certainly a struggle, challenge, and a journey to get to where I've gotten. But the last 2-3 years in the work that I've done a number of systems and things that I've set up. I do home buying seminars. That's one big area that I generate a lot of business from. And then YouTube and social media has been the primary generator for my business these last couple of years. So first year was a struggle, but these last few years, certainly glad that I made the transition. I love real estate, and you're able to, as you said, the earning potential is uncapped when it comes to sales.
Yeah, dude, I was kind of in the same boat. I used to be a fireman, and then I left. So kind of in your shoes, I found myself too, where it was capped, certain amount of days, and then also days that I couldn't control. I had to be, well, for me, I had to be there. So, and at least knowing that with real estate, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. but you still have that opportunity to work harder and make a better salary. Just like, I mean, like you said, you're pretty new in Monterey, and you had to, really beat the streets to ultimately get, the money that ultimately a lot of agents will make. But it took a little while to get there, and then once you got there, it really propelled you into a better place than you were as a teacher, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's huge. So, um, for you now, have you always done the buyer seminars, or did you start those like a couple years ago?
Yeah. So when you were mentioning that you're a former firefighter, I think it's really important as a realtor to kind of try to find your niche. Where you fit in. There are certainly some people who have gone into real estate outside of high school or college, but I would say most realtors, at least people that I meet, had a profession before entering real estate. And so I really tried to connect with my former time being a teacher, and I started doing home buying seminars for Monterey Peninsula Unified School District, which is
Oh, nice.
the largest school district in Monterey. And I've been trying to reach out and get some connections with some of the other departments, like the fire department, police department. Service people are people that I really connect well with, whether it's teachers, nurses, firefighters, police officers, military. So I started doing the seminar. We do probably 3 to 4 a year with
Gotcha.
Monterey schools, and it's just the benefits of home ownership, the steps to purchasing a home. I partner with a lender, my local preferred lender that I've done, probably 30 transactions with the last few years. He helped me purchase my house. So he does the lending side and I do the real estate side. So
Perfect.
that's one thing that I would really encourage people. If you still have connections with the fire department, setting up a home buying seminar. We offer the seminar for free, and it's just information for people that are interested in finding out the value of purchasing a home and what does it take to purchase a home. Because a lot of people assume that they can't purchase a home. They think it's too complicated. They don't make enough money. And we've had a lot of success with teachers who came, and when they set foot in the door, they didn't think that they were going to be able to purchase a home. And 3 months later, they're getting the keys to their first house.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think people, especially in higher price point areas, think that they're priced out and they don't even really spend the time or the effort to get pre-approved. And I think that's where, as some people, educators, like yourself, that don't educate people, fall short and ultimately don't make the valiant effort and income that you could make because they're not out there educating the public. Even if you're educating 30 people at a time, each seminar, or 100 people each time, there's probably a handful of people in there, 5 to 10, that don't even know a lot of the information that you're saying because they're so busy, looking at other things on a daily basis.
Right, right.
Yeah. No, it's huge. Um, so buyer seminars, and then how were you able to get in contact with, I mean, I know as a teacher up there, you were able to get that kind of connection with the school district to say, hey, I want to put this on. And was it hard to get that going or not?
Yeah, so when I reached out to the superintendent of Monterey schools, and I was pretty surprised. The response was almost within a couple of hours. I got a response from the communications director at Monterey schools, and they're somebody that they recognize the importance, the value of their staff and their teachers. Teacher turnover, regardless of what industry it's in, right? If
Hmm.
it's firefighters, police officers, schools, hospitals, right? Turnover is a big problem. It costs a lot of
Hmm.
money. It's tough on the students. It's tough on the admin, the staff. Getting to know the curriculum. I'm somebody. I worked at a lot of different schools in the 10 years that I was teaching, and it takes a few years to get ramped up and understand everything. So they were really excited about the idea of doing something that would support their staff. So we set up a meeting, and almost immediately we started doing these seminars, and we did them in person 2018, 2019. We did a number of virtual ones in 2020 and 2021. And I think we're going to be, getting back to doing some more in person meetings. But it was a struggle with. I reached out to a lot of the districts that are in the area, and some of them, didn't respond, or didn't think that there was value in it, or didn't quite understand why I was reaching out to them, wondering what was in it for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish that we could get these seminars set up for all the districts in Monterey County. But for now, we've just been doing it with Monterey Peninsula Unified School District. And then also around a month ago, we did our first seminar with one of the local universities for Monterey Peninsula College. So
Oh, nice.
that was pretty well attended. So yeah, we've been trying to get the seminars and just share as much information we can with people about the home buying process.
Is that a community college up there?
Yeah, it's community college.
Okay. Okay. So you've branded yourself pretty good in that area, I would say. How have you taken that to social media and been able to, teach other realtors and also, other maybe lenders too, to really get themselves out there to be able to, grasp the marketing and branding aspect of being an agent? Because I know that's tough for agents.
Yeah, so I coined myself the teacher realtor, which been using that kind of my social media, my YouTube, my Instagram, Facebook for the last few years. I was a little hesitant to do that because I didn't want some people to think that I was still teaching. I wanted people to know that I'm full time in real estate, but it really is one of my goals when I work with buyers or sellers. It tends to be that I've worked with a lot of first-time home buyers, a lot of first-time home sellers. So it really is an education process when you're working with people who are new to it, because there's so many different things to learn in the process. So I really do try to teach everything from what the steps look like, what the paperwork looks like, come up with answers to questions that they might have proactively in advance to when they're asking those questions. And then probably, I think 2.5 years ago, I decided that I wanted to try to start branching out a little bit more, find some new clients and new buyers and sellers to work with. And I wasn't quite sure, where that was going to come from. Like you said, I was new to Monterey. I don't have a huge sphere here. And most of my connections were in the teaching industry. So I wanted to try to find some ways to branch out. And I found an article around 2.5 years ago from Homelight that was talking about YouTube and how many users there are on YouTube. There's over 2 billion active users on YouTube that are using the platform on a daily or weekly basis. And the article continued, and it talked about the fact that 57% of buyers were starting their search for their realtor on YouTube, and 73% of sellers prefer realtors who are using YouTube and digital marketing and video when selling homes. So I just decided, I didn't really have any direction or any idea of what it was going to look like. I was just going to start putting together YouTube videos about real estate and the market where I live. And I started doing that around 2.5 years ago. Since then, I've made over 100 videos. And it's kind of turned into the number one source that I get for generating clients,
Really?
generating business. And I'd say I get 2 to 3 high quality leads a week just from my YouTube channel. And I don't share too much of that with other local realtors here, but it's something that I would highly encourage people other realtors to get on YouTube, because it's very underutilized resource. It's not like Zillow or some of those other marketing websites where every single realtor has a Zillow profile. So it's not flooded, it's not saturated, and so I've been doing that for just around 2.5 years now. And this last summer, I created a course showing other realtors how they could create their own YouTube channel and start generating leads from their YouTube videos.
Yeah, dude, that's really good. So let's go down a little bit of the rabbit hole for doing YouTube for agents. Well, also yourself, to get high quality leads, 1 to 2 a week. Let's just say even 1 to 2 a month. I think people perked up when they heard that, and they're like, 1 to 2 high quality leads, even if they don't buy for 12 months, the time that you put and effort you put into YouTube, that's pretty significant. Even if you're living in a average market of $400,000 or $500,000. So how are you doing that? Are you doing SEO behind the scenes on the videos? What's the background on that to be able to get those high quality leads?
So it's one of those things. YouTube is certainly not a short term game, right? It's not one of these things where you create a video, you post it, and your phone's going to be ringing off the hook.
Of course.
It really is one of those things. It's going to take time. It's going to take consistency. And you do need to show YouTube as a platform, right? They're a marketing platform themselves, so they want to know that they're going to have people that are coming back. They're interested in your videos, that they're going to stick around and watch your videos for a certain period of time. And they want to know that you're going to be a consistent channel that's going to be posting. So I tried to make it my goal, and I post once a week. So I started posting once a week. I have different categories that I create videos on. Some are, local real estate statistics. So I do a monthly market update. I do once a week what's new on the market. And then I do national real estate news. So when rates were changing, or when people were doing the 3-2-1 buy down, going into videos explaining that. And then I also do local lifestyle videos. So, what are the best restaurants, hiking trails, the best scenic views that you can find in the Monterey area. So those are the 3 different categories that I do for posting those videos. I have not paid a single dollar for ads when it comes to posting my YouTube videos. It's just all been organic traffic and leads. So Perfect. I don't do any of that in terms of spending money outside of purchasing some equipment up front to make the videos. I did purchase a camera, lights, stand, and microphone just to help with the quality of the videos. But outside of that, I don't spend any money on my videos. I do link, which I show this in the course, how you can do this. I do link my videos to my Instagram and my Facebook and my LinkedIn. So all of those things are kind of mixed together. So that's how I do the SEO portion of trying to get this to come up in front of as many people as possible. But I actually looked the other day, you were talking about, effort that you put into your different marketing things and the amount of time and the amount of money that you spend. And so my channel, the last 2.5 years, has gotten 150,000 views. So I can't,
solid.
What's that? Sorry.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah. And Monterey is a small market. It's not a place like Los Angeles or San Francisco or Chicago. Some of these bigger markets where there's a lot of people that are coming in and out, moving in and out of this area. So it's a small market. I think if you're in a larger market, you have an even greater opportunity for getting additional potential clients and views that come across your channel. So I can't think of anything that I could have done, cold calls, door knocking, mailers, that would have gotten 150,000 views in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure. I don't think, I think that's hard to do. Especially like you said, you have a small market. It's not where I have a big market. I think there's like 3.2 million people that live in Orange County. So, or 3.4, something like that. So I would assume yours is very tight knit. And then 2, to go back to what you said before earlier on the sales versus realtors in the area, same thing. I think across California, it's very hard to dig through all the weeds to get to Toby, to get to Peter, to get to Jeff, whoever that agent is. You can go on Zillow, like you mentioned. You could go on, these other sites, realtor.com, to find an agent in that area. But you're going to see 50 agents, on one page, and go through it just like a Google sheet and continue to go through it. And then you're going to continue to see faces. How do you align with a person that's going to ultimately going to be the person for you, as that you're out there looking for a property. And I think as you brand yourself, and being able to get 150,000 views on YouTube is one of those ways.
Yeah, and to your point when you were mentioning, the idea of Zillow, right? You're seeing people's faces, you're seeing maybe some sales history. It's going to be pretty difficult to figure out who your realtor is going to be and how to differentiate yourself on sites like that. And if you want to be somebody that's on the first pages of Zillow, you have to be. I think I looked into it my first year. It might have been $3,000 a month to be
Hmm.
on one of the first pages for one of the more affordable areas in Monterey
Yep.
County. So, you're talking, $30 to $50,000 plus a year to be one of those realtors who's popping up on the first pages of Zillow. I don't even show up until the 25th page of Zillow, so I don't think anybody is scrolling to the 25th page to find their realtor. And when you're doing something like YouTube, you are providing value to people for free.
Yeah.
So my market updates, it shares information about the minimum, the maximum, the median sales price, the average sale to list price, number of days on the market. Right, I'm providing and educating people about the market. So when they reach out to me, and the reason that I call them high quality leads is because they're not reaching out to me asking for a $200,000 house in a market where the median sales price is 1.2. Right, they understand the costs of homes, and hopefully they've done a little bit of research to see if that's something that they can qualify for and they're comfortable with paying.
Hmm.
So you're providing information to people on your channel. People stick around. Some of my videos are 5 to 30 plus minutes, so people get to know you. I do neighborhood tours. And when I have clients reach out to me, it's interesting. It almost feels like they know me. They say, "Oh, we watched so many of your videos," and it's not like they're reaching out to me and saying we're interviewing 4 different realtors. Usually, the people that reach out to me on YouTube say, "We've seen so many of your videos. We appreciate the value that you've provided, and we'd like to work with you as our realtor."
Yeah, I mean, that's huge because ultimately you can have so many going back to Zillow and going back to, paid traffic online. You can have so many people just doing quick click and adding a fake email or maybe an email, but you never, ultimately talk to them because they'll never respond to you. Or if they do, it's, a quick response and then that's all you get because you're not like a friend down the street that you're going to, talk to every day when you go into the post office or something like that. There's no familiarity with it.
Yeah,
But being able to be out there on YouTube consistently, is going to be able to get people to know you better. And then you get a warmer handoff or a warmer, communication and connection. And I've done Zillow and I've done other pay per click, and it ultimately turns into that where you don't get really anybody that's has any substance when it comes to working with them because you're just someone online that they've never met before, and they just want to get a door maybe open for them so they can see a property, and then they'll never talk to you again. So
yeah,
that's good.
exactly. Yeah.
um so when you link between YouTube, Instagram, do you get a lot of people that just reach out to you on YouTube, or do they connect? I mean, granted, when you talk to them, you don't know exactly how the lineage goes, but do they more connect through YouTube or Instagram?
Yeah, I get more so from YouTube, people that will, every single video that I do at the start, I put my email address and my phone number.
Okay.
There are some people who do reach out to me via Instagram. I actually have a showing this afternoon, and it was somebody who reached out to me from Instagram, but she mentioned I came across your YouTube videos. So, she said, I've seen a lot of your YouTube videos, and she messaged me on Instagram. It seemed like that was her preferred form of communication. I even sent an email, and then I think she replied to me via Instagram. So I think it was just somebody who uses that platform a lot. But
Yep.
yeah, that's the nice thing about when you upload a video, you can sync all 3 of those together, Facebook and Instagram. And then yeah, I would say that I don't quite know if somebody reaches out to me via email. If they reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, I don't know if they came across me first from Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. But most
Mhm.
people do when they reach out to me say, I've seen some of your YouTube videos, and that's the reason that they're reaching out.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, just being omnipresent, especially on, any channel, because you don't know if the person only likes TikTok or they just like YouTube. And then all of a sudden, they're linked and they're like, oh, okay, why I've only been on Instagram 3 times, but I didn't even know Toby was linked to Instagram. So I'll check him out there. And then now I have buy-in for you. So what do you see for you going forward, especially in a smaller market, as rates have changed the market? What's outside of this stuff, like what has been one key piece of information that you've been able to provide clients at this home buyer seminar and stuff like that that's really helped them kind of turn on the lights on buying a home?
Yeah, and sorry, I just wanted to go back to one other point that
Yeah.
you made previously there. Something else that I do is I make all of my social media the same name. So I think that really helps. Every single one of my things is living in Monterey, California.
Okay.
So that's my YouTube, that's my Instagram, that's my Facebook, that's even my website. So
Gotcha.
I think that's really helpful to try to mix all of those things together. If your Facebook is your name and your Instagram is some other name and your YouTube channel is some other name, I do think that really helps with the connection and the SEO
Mhm.
for having all of those things matched together. And I chose the name that I chose, living in Monterey, California, over choosing my name. Just because Monterey, California is YouTubed and Googled and searched a lot more frequently than
Yeah.
a realtor's name, unless you're a celebrity realtor, somebody on $1 million listing or something like that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that's a recommendation that I would have if you're hopping on any of those social media sites to do something that's more searchable. And the market has shifted recently, as I'm sure most realtors and listeners here have recognized in the last year. And I think it's a great time and great opportunity. So something that I've been sharing with my clients, something that I share at the home buying seminars, something that I share in my YouTube videos, is that the market has slowed down and the market has dipped, and that's in a big part due to rates. But if you have the option to purchase a house with a lower price and high rates, or if you have the option to purchase a house with low rates but a high purchase price, I would take that first option where you have the lower purchase price and the higher rates any day, because you can refinance your rate. And there's a number of strategies out there to get a lower rate, like a 3-2-1 buy down, or paying points to lower your rate. So there are things you can do to change your rate. You can't change your purchase price. So in 2020, in 2021, I'm sure in Orange County, also up here in Monterey, home prices were going hundreds of thousands of dollars over the asking price. Homes weren't appraising for what people were purchasing them for. So the home values were just skyrocketing up unrealistically during those 2 years. And home prices have either stayed steady or even taken a bit of a step back in some neighborhoods in Monterey County. So something that anything that I share with my clients, anything that I share on YouTube, are things that I practice myself. So I actually put an offer in on a house a few days ago. So it's not just something that I share with other people. I'm looking to purchase investment properties right now myself. So I purchased my first house myself back in 2020, and now I think is an ideal time for getting better terms when it comes to buying a house.
Yeah, I mean, I second that 100%. I mean, I know that it was nice for realtors, the past 2.5 years on how rates dropped, and there was a lot of money out there that a lot of people were able to spend without, caution to the wind. Now everybody's kind of taking a step back, and as you probably know, and everything else on research, rates are pretty much at average, percent now. Maybe it's normally over the past like 50, 60 years, it's been, 5.5, 6% over the course of it being like 18% back
Right.
in like the 80s down to, 2.5%. So if you average that out of what it's been consistently, we're kind of in that market that it's normal now. But, 2.5, 3 years, people forget that, rates can be higher than 2.5, 3%. So But now my clients, it's almost nicer to have, a buyer that you're working with to educate them on, okay, well, hey, we can get a reduction in sales price. We can also negotiate closing costs, and we can also get a rate buy down, and we can have an inspection done and keep the
Yeah.
appraisal contingency in there. So all those things
Yeah.
that used to be, normal bread and butter of contracts was gone for 2.5, 3 years. Now it's back, which is really nice for you and I, to have those conversations, and talking to buyers, really turn that light back on and say, now it's really, beneficial. And 3.5%, 5% down is back too. Before, people wouldn't even sell, listing agents and sellers wouldn't even look at those offers.
Right.
So yeah, that's huge. And so, outside of the market change and stuff like that, like, you do a really good job of being on social media and linking those names to one name, so people don't go around and, see Toby here, and then, T Toby, or, realtor and stuff like that. But so what would you suggest if I was a brand new agent to get into first? What social media avenue would I go into first? If I don't know too much as a real estate agent, and also loans and everything else, what are you telling people first thing to do?
Yeah, I think, Instagram and Facebook, I think are easier to do, right? You can, if you go out and do a showing, you can do a quick post on your Instagram page, your Facebook page. The downside about those is those come across your friends, right? So those are things that come across your friends, and they are a shorter time period, right? You might see posts on Facebook or Instagram for a couple of days, and then those are not going to be relevant. They're going to be at the bottom of your feed, and then they're not going to show up. I am very biased, and it's a lot of it has to do with the number of sales that I've done in the last couple of years. But I would recommend getting on YouTube. You can start a YouTube channel directly from your phone if you want. One of the video lessons that I have on the course that I created, which is called Video for Real Estate with the number 4. I go over ways to set up a channel for under $100 or under $1,000. So you can do it directly from your phone. If you have a little bit of money that you're able to spend, you can purchase a camera and microphone and lights and a stand. That's pretty much all you need. I do 90% of my videos directly here from my office. If you're watching the video version of this, or you've seen the background, this is the same backdrop, a photo, a painting of Big Sur in my office that you'll see in most of my videos. And the great thing about the videos that I create on my YouTube channel is that this is work that you should be doing as a realtor anyways. So if you're a new realtor and you don't know about your market, you don't know about lending, you don't know about different strategies in the escrow process, when you learn those things, you can create a video about them. So, my market updates, my monthly update, I'm looking at what homes sold, the minimum, the maximum, the median, how many days on the market it was. That's information that realtors should be doing just to be informed and to inform their clients. When I'm making a what's new on the market video, I'm looking through all of the homes that were listed in Monterey County in that last week. And I share that. I just do a screen share, and I go through the listing websites of the new houses that were listed that week. So that's information that you should be doing as a realtor. You should be learning as well, just to inform your clients that are looking in different neighborhoods and different price points. So along with educating my clients and people who come across my channel, I'm also educating myself about the market, about the community. I go and do videos of different events in the community. So that's fun when I get to go do those type of videos. I've done some videos about restaurants and local businesses and establishments. So I'm meeting potential clients and I'm meeting people when I go out and do those types of videos. So it really is kind of a snowball effect once you start doing YouTube videos, in terms of all the connections that you're able to build.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. Kind of going back to what we talked about before, kind of being all across each platform, to really have that synergy, because you don't know where those people are going to be that are going to be searching for you, or ultimately where they're at, what the algorithm shows on Google to pop up first for you. If you're not even doing any SEO, it could be a Facebook, Toby Realtor, post, teacher realtor. It could be something like that pops up on Facebook before, that could be the first click, right? And you're not paying for any advertising or anything like that. You just don't know what the algorithm's going to push first. So, being on all of them is really key. Even if you have, like you said, you had a strategy of one post, one YouTube video a week, right? So having that consistently in your repertoire, you can easily build that up, and then over the course of a year, you have 52 videos, and it's like, okay, well now, after the second year, maybe I add in 2 videos a week. So I think you have a good, easy strategy to implement for people that are newer to the game, or people that have been doing it for a while and want to refresh and a rebrand.
Yeah, I think you bring up some really good points there in terms of just diversifying where you are sharing out your information, right? So it can't hurt, right, if you're putting information out on all the different social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I haven't done TikTok, but I know that there are plenty of realtors who have success on that platform as well. So yeah, like you said, meeting clients where they are, you never know what's going to be their preferred media, what's going to be their preferred platform, like that client that I'm meeting today, right? Instagram was her preferred platform, so I'm going to meet her where she is, and that's an important lesson, I think, as a realtor as well, is to meet people where they are. Do they prefer text? Do they prefer a phone call? Do they prefer email? Right? So just diversifying, but also not spreading yourself too thin. I think that's a problem that a lot of realtors do, right? They hear this is helpful, this is successful, and they tried a bunch of different things, and they're throwing at the wall and seeing what sticks. But I would think if you really focus and stay consistent, pick maybe your 3 to 5 strategies that are successful for you as a realtor, and you also enjoy doing, right? I enjoy making the videos. It wasn't like that at the start. I was certainly very nervous and wasn't comfortable in front of the camera, didn't know what to say. It took a long time to build up my knowledge to where it is today. So, it's going to take time. Anything that you're doing, it's a new skill, learning that, but staying consistent with those 3 to 5. So whatever it is, if you do very well and love open houses, right? Or if you want to do Instagram, if you want to do Facebook, if you want to do YouTube, picking those different platforms that help you, and then staying consistent on there.
Yeah. No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. You need to you can't spread yourself too thin. I've been there. If you don't have the money to hire, a small, team or just a, marketing assistant, if you don't have that money, focus on 3 of them and just have a plan in place to post, once a week on each of them, and then ramp that up as more business comes in, versus going all out, and then being in a position where you got to go back to being a teacher. You got to go, those things I think really help the newer person and the person that hasn't been on social media, that wants to dabble and wants to get into it and ultimately utilize that to get more clients. That's huge.
Yeah, I think the goal is, when you start out, I started out doing everything myself, right? I started out shooting the videos myself, editing them myself, posting them myself, right? And so when I was slower, I didn't have as many clients that I was working with. I had more time, I had more bandwidth to do those type of things. And then as you ramp up, as you get more clients, as you get busier, as you're doing more sales, then, like you said, you can start hiring some of those things out. You could hire out an editor. You could hire out somebody who's posting your videos, making the thumbnails for you. Hire out transaction coordinator. That was the first thing that I did. Was the paperwork was just really slowing and bogging me down. So I ended up hiring somebody who does all my paperwork, and that has freed up a ton of time for me. So, like you said, you have a team. You have different agents who work with you. So, starting out just yourself, if you're brand new. When you have more time, you have less clients, you can learn all of those different things, and then you can, spread out some of the work as you get more successful and as you have more clients coming in.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay. Well, dude, this was This is really good because it gives a basis for a lot of people that haven't been there, and then some people that maybe used to be there. Like sometimes just talking about getting too spread thin and then ultimately not doing it anymore because you get overwhelmed. This gives some nuggets for people that are listening that want to get back into it. So I think that's huge. So transitioning, is there, with you being online more, with everybody being online more, and running a business, is there something that you guys use that makes business easier, like an online platform or an app that helps you be more efficient?
No, I don't really have any real advice in terms of ways to streamline or be more efficiency in terms of that. I think that there's different things that I use and just have learned over time when it comes to helping to keep everything on track and keep everything focused. But Google Calendar is a good friend of mine, so that, that's something that I try and make sure my calendar is up to date in terms of that. And then, working with some of the different people who help to, make sure that whoever you're working with, those people are good with communication, and those people help you to keep everything streamlined and on track. Having a strong lending partner, that is really critical to make sure that you have, the right business partners that you're working with, home inspectors, different people like that. That would be another bit of advice that I would say if you're new to the industry, is just making sure that you have those different people that you partner with who help to make your job easier and keep you focused on the transactions and doing a good job with your clients.
For sure. No, dude, I agree 100%. Okay. As being an agent, any book that you've read that's really helped you progress in your career?
Yeah, I read some books that are motivational books. One book that I read, "It Takes What It Takes," and that's a book that was written by the mental coach who works with Russell Westbrook, the NFL quarterback. So that just talks about keeping your mindset in the right place and just focusing on the things that you can keep within your control, and not trying to worry about things or focusing your energy on things that are just not a good use of your time. If something is not beneficial to me or to my clients, it's not really something that I try and spend too much time with, because I don't have that much time to give away. And then another one that I read not that long ago, I think it's The Gift Giver is the name of the title, or yeah. So that one, just trying to, when you work with clients, right, there's so many realtors out there. So it really is a choice who people want to work with. In my market anyways, it seems like, everybody's a realtor, and somebody, knows a realtor. So you want to make sure that when you're working with clients, that they, really leave the transaction on a positive note, right? That they, are wanting to work with you again. They're wanting to refer their friends and their family to work with you. When I first started doing real estate, I joined a team, and the realtor who I worked with, I asked him about, oh, we had a closing coming up, and do you give any gifts? And he said, no, I don't give gifts. Working with me is the gift. And needless to say, I was not on his team very long. I don't think that our ideals or our morals aligned very well. It's a privilege to work with clients, and you want people to appreciate the effort and the work that you do with them. So the Gift Giver talks about just giving back to clients, right? Giving and not expecting anything in return. So I give probably more gifts than I should when at a closing. And I think of a certain amount of my commission as just not mine, right? It's just something that I'm going to give it back in gifts and home warranties and things like that to my clients, just to show my appreciation that they chose to work with me.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree with you. That's a good way to treat every client, to continue to get business. Versus just like you said, that team lead was saying, the gift is working with me. So, okay, is there anything that I missed on this conversation that maybe we can cover real quick?
So if we could talk a little bit more about the course, I think that
Yeah.
would be great. Just to, if I could share a little bit about the course that I created. So it was over the summertime, and I'm not sure how many hundreds of hours I put into creating this course, but I tried to put my teacher hat back on and basically teach to somebody if they wanted to start their own YouTube channel. As we were talking before we started the podcast, I think there's some hesitation out there from people just not wanting to get in front of a camera, not knowing what to say, not knowing what types of videos to put up. So I put all of that information into, right now it's 50 different lessons. And I show people, the first one is how to create your first video. So, what is the equipment that you need to get in order to do that? How you get yourself set up so you're ready to make your first video. The second module is all about shooting your first video. What does that look like? And then I go through editing. So how do you edit? I use an easy to use editing software called Wondershare Filmora, which if you have a Mac, you can use iMovie. This is pretty easy. It's just kind of cut and drag for different things. I'm not a professional editor, no background in that. So I use this program and I show tutorials, walk you through how you could edit your own videos, or if you're a super busy realtor, how you could outsource your editing to somebody else. And then I do 2 different modules that are all about the types of content that I put out that get the most amount of views, that get the most potential clients coming across my channel. So talk about weekly content that you can put out there. So give you ideas and really just help you jumpstart your YouTube channel. I created outlines and sample scripts for people so they can just plug in their own market data so they can use that. And then the last one that I created was how to distribute these videos to get them out in front of the most amount of clients. If you search, Monterey real estate, Monterey realtor, things like that, Seaside, Marina, Pacific Grove, these are areas where I practice real estate in California. If you search those things on YouTube, you will come across my videos all across the first channel. So if you're a potential client who's looking at YouTube for looking for a realtor in the area, that is my goal of the course, is to just make sure that your videos are going to come up and they're going to come across you as the first realtor who they're seeing information from. So that's my goal with the course. I've had a large number of people who have signed up for the course and have started sending me some of their videos, and their videos are fantastic, and they're already starting to generate some leads through the videos that they've made.
That's cool. That's perfect. Well, dude, I think that course, especially over the whole course of our conversation, rings true to the people that are, for one, seeing you on YouTube, and 2, the realtors that really don't have a path, especially for social media. So I think that's valuable information that you're providing to agents on a on a big scale to be able to get them off to the right foot, right? Off on the right foot.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job, dude. So talking about where people can find out more about you.
Yeah, so probably just the easiest way would be to come across my social media. So all of it would just be living in Monterey, California. So you can find me YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and also my website is that as well. If you're interested in learning more about the course, there are 4 free lessons on the course that you can check out before you sign up. And that is just video for real estate with the number 4.com. And you can email me as well if you have any questions about the course. My email address is Toby, Toby, at video for real estate, again with the number 4.com.
Okay, perfect. Well, Toby, dude, this has been enlightening. I appreciate you coming on and sharing some tidbits, especially you having success on social media platforms is huge for people that are out there, real estate agents, specifically. So, thanks so much. And
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate really appreciate your time jumping on today too.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Have a good day.
You too.